So a little history of why we have the symposium and what's the importance of the symposium. So in 2015, NNC came out with a report entitled Altering the Course, Black Males in Medicine. And what it found is there's been a decline in the number of black male applicants applying to and finishing medical school. And one of the most alarming statistics that we found in that report is that there were fewer black male applicants in 1970, or fewer black applicants in 2014 than in 1978. And that was one of the most disturbing things we saw in that report. And so I gave a list of reasons why that was, why there was a decline. But we wanted the symposium to focus on how do we change that? How do we change that narrative to increase the number of black males going into medicine, going to get their PhD, going to any STEM program. That said, I want to bring up Dr. Lee to introduce Dr. Gavin, who is our keynote speaker.
James R. Gavin, scientist, physician. Word of the day, young people, raconteur. Raconteur is one who is able to tell a story and keep you in stitches. Brothers, sisters, please welcome Dr. James R. Gavin.
Commendations and personal thanks to all of the sponsors and supporters and the organizers and those folks who have been associated with the development, evolution, and preservation of the Young Doctors movement, because I can only tell you that I sure wish that some of these kinds of resources had been around when I was making my way through. Perhaps the most important lesson that I have learned is something that's already been alluded to, and that is that it is more important who you work with than what you work on. The mentor is the single most important influence in the success, certainly of a scientist, and in many other areas, but in science, it is especially noteworthy. Because what I've learned about a mentor is interested and cares about what happens to you and wants you to be successful and whole in your life and will not rest until you are successful of your careers. I hope today is going to be a successful, informative, I know it will be a useful day for you, but more than that, an impactful day that will give you some things to think about and resources that you can draw upon for the rest of your careers.
Part of what I want to do today, and be very brief, is just tell you a little bit about what Young Docs is, but more so, I'm going to save that for one of the Young Docs to do. But what I really want to do is to tell you about the spirit of Young Doctors DC, right? To tell you how it is that we came to Young Docs DC. One of the most important things that we recognize is that our young people are our sons, they're our brothers, they're our sisters, they're our mothers, they're our fathers, they are, but particularly in our communities, our young people are what we cherish most, right? They're our promise. What if we were able to tap into that? And I was talking to Dr. Easterling and Dr. Stevens and folks that you'll hear from a lot today. And we said, what if we were able to tap into that? The fact that these young people are the pride of their communities, right? What if we were able to take these young people not out of their communities, but work with them while they're in their communities and kind of give them some of the information that we have? What if we use that? What if we use that familial bond in neighborhoods and that being proud of the young people in our neighborhood, what if we borrowed that? And what if we took these young people that we truly value and we took their experience and we harnessed it, what is the best about them, and we taught them about health. And we had these very same young people go back into their neighborhoods and they become the health ambassadors. They're the ones who are talking to people about diabetes. They're the ones who are talking to people about hypertension. They're telling their mothers, they're telling their fathers, Mom, shouldn't eat that. Dad, you might want to rethink that smoking. So it was really those two things that helped us kind of land the plane on our thinking around Young Docs. It's who do we have in our community? Who are our best assets in our community? And we thought it was our young people. And then we said, well, how can we get our young people what is best about them, their ability to be able to connect people in communities and use that to help us address something that's important to us as healthcare professionals, which is the health of our community, right? And that's really how, that is the thinking behind Young Docs DC. And Young Doc Marlon is going to tell you a little bit more about his experience and just how we work this thing out called Young Doctors.
I'll only talk about my experience personally. The first time I looked at this program, I was like, wow, this seems interesting. But it's so nice because I went to the ER once. One of the doctors took me to this Spanish-speaking family, started talking to me, and I was like, oh no. And they were like, oh, they don't do it. So I was like, the doctor's trying to ask me questions. Rotations where we go to like the ER, dentistry, surgery. You know, I saw a knee replacement once. Yeah, at that moment I knew I was not going to be a surgeon. Even if I end up not wanting to do something medical, I know they'll still support me. They just, I know they want the best for me to have a good life. Yeah, thank you.
We're going into our 5th year, and as you hear from Young Doc Marlon and so many other Young Docs, you'll really hear the substance of the program and our ability to put our hands on these kids to not just say, do this, but really to work with them from the very start. And so I think it's really a fortunate opportunity for me to be involved because it's not only learning for them, but it's learning for us because we're constantly going back and forth as the mentors to really try to figure out what are the ingredients, right, that we really need to make sure that we are nurturing our kids and getting them where they need to go. And so this is a great segue into our next stage of this program, is thinking about the ingredients, right? And so as I stand here and I look out at the room and anyone else who had the fortunate opportunity to stand here to really see how awesome it is.
How many people have ever been told by somebody else that you should need to reconsider what your aspirations are? Okay? And the goal, and if you guys got a chance to look around, it's almost everybody. Okay? Sometimes you're going to have to be able to speak it for yourself. Okay? Sometimes you're going to have to be able to push through when things look bleak. And part of the way that you do that, Dr. Gavin spoke about this, is being ferociously determined to make it happen. There's a concept called grit that's getting a lot of press lately. But grit is the ability to keep focused on your goal and use the obstacles and hurdles that happen as stepping stones, as learning points, as opposed to being turned away from your goal.
Thinking about medical school, we have to look at what's the applicant pool. And so there's been an overall increase, significant increase in the number of black men going into undergraduate education. The report shared this information. But we're still seeing a significant decline in the number of men going into matriculating to medical school. Why is this the case? Can you sort of help us understand what's happening and why we're seeing this phenomenon?
Some of the factors that we looked at were participation in STEM. We don't have enough, African Americans participating or having the availability to participate in STEM programming that is available out there. Resources is also a huge thing, which is also not available in terms of certain communities, or if you don't have the access to it as well. And one of the bigger things that we have seen is perception. There's been a negative perception or public image of black males, and a lot of that has contributed to not so many of them, and also with the lack of role models, applying past just a bachelor's program, or even going into college.
You need exposure early and often. That's how people end up growing and developing. What you're doing here is being exposed. You're being exposed to physicians, you're being exposed to your peers, you're being exposed to people around you who want to do the same thing.
And a lot of students that I spoke to did not have a good idea about the MCAT. They just they didn't know. And they went into it just saying, oh, I knew I needed tickets, I want to go to medical school. But they didn't take the right courses, they were not prepared. So it's not just sitting down and taking a Princeton review or a Kaplan course. You need to have the foundation. And you need to make sure that, well, listen, if I got a C in one of the courses that's necessary for an MCAT, well, you should be looking at summer school and maybe retaking that course. You need the foundation just to do well in MCAT.
Not just the moment you get there, it's the moment you make contact with the program. That's when it starts. We've had a number of folks fail on the phone call, where they got exasperated because they were on hold, or they talked let me talk to somebody who can help me type deal, okay? And sometimes you do have to get to the next level, but your way that you approach that can influence you. You do not know the relationships of the people that you're speaking to sight unseen. By the time that you show up there in actual person, people have already had to develop a favorable impression. And you manage that, but you got to pay attention to every aspect of that.
Good. So those sounds are called S1 and S2, which describes the valves opening and closing. So S1 is your mitral and aortic valve closing. S2 is your tricuspid and pulmonic valve closing. So that's the love, dub is basically, that's what that sound is.
Your goal, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to put your hands on this hardware, okay? Is to put your hands on the equipment to get a true feel about how this works, okay? It doesn't make any sense for you to have orthopedic surgeons here with the actual equipment that we use in the operating room and not put your hands on it.
So again, take these things, take what everybody's telling you, but remember, you're going to push forward and it's going to be times when you run into a brick wall, right? I'm not necessarily, do push through the brick wall. Sometimes you might have to find a way around it. Sometimes you go under it, sometimes you go, right? But don't stop there. Don't stop there. Don't stop there, right?